I was recently asked a question about using effects inside of Reaper, and namely retune and the delay or redelay. Using retune while you're tracking is not a good idea. I have not had an experience where my processor would allow me to use that with zero latency. If I use retune, which I don't very often, but once in a while it's necessary. I like to keep stuff fairly honest, but I understand the need or the desire to use it. Having said that, use it after you're done. Record your vocals or guitar or whatever you're going to use retune on. I would go into it expecting to not use retune and capturing a very well performed part for your piece of music. However, you capture that perfect part and one or two notes are bad, retune will allow you to fix that. And that is definitely, it's the only tuning software that I use at all. And it's rare. So I do not recommend using retune. Now, I'm going to go ahead and open up my session here. Going in, I have some effects on my voice. I've got an EQ and a compressor on my voice, and you can see that it's working ever so slightly. I certainly wish that I could make this display a whole lot bigger for you, but I'm not sure how to do that. If you know, let me know. So I've got a re-EQ. I'm doing some EQing here, getting rid of some low-end noise and boosting a little bit in the top end to get my voice to sound the way it does. If I push record right now, these settings, the recomp and the re-EQ, will both be recorded onto the track. So keep that in mind. That is done using the input effects. On my effects processing, post-recording, what I would hear in my headphones, I've inserted ReaDELAY and ReaTune, whatever you want to call it. Where is it? There it is. All right. This is a guitar tuner slash bass tuner. Hey, can you hear the car going by? It's a really loud car. All right. Let's first look into ReaDELAY. Number one, it is automatically synced to your BPM of your session. Over here, I have my metronome, and I'm going to go ahead and turn ReaDELAY on right now.
Turn that off.
Right now. And if I turn the click on, and I'm going to push play, We've got our tempo set at 105, so let's make that where our standard is, our default setting. We set that to 120. So now, if we hit the click, check. Now I'm gonna reset the BPM. We'll go 150. Check. You'll notice that it's tapping perfectly in time. Right. Okay. Now, if we want to make that delay a bit less precise or a bit less, what do we say, quarter notes, all we have to do is lower this number here. Now, dragging the fader right here is not terribly simple. Go down here to 0, and we're going to have virtually no delay. If we move this to, let's go, now we've got a very short, now you're almost hearing a phasing issue happening. We keep extending this up. Now we can create some feedback right here. So now you can hear how short those delays are. Okay? You can have none, no delay, or a lot of delay. That's 0.33% of the 8 notes. So at this point, it's still tapping in time, but it's at 0.33 of 8 notes on that. If we go back up here to 4, or virtually 4, lots of feedback. We'll turn that down a little bit. Okay. Now, I've got a lot of wet signal. It's hitting just as hard as my dry signal, so I'll bring this down, and so my delays aren't quite so hot, and it's a little more like what you would have in a vocal performance in a song if it was soloed. So at this point, I'm going to use my length musical to insert a number. Now, I've made it at 1.98. The reason I do that is so that you can hear the delays tapping. And so now, when I push play with the drum beat, check. I have the delay off. Check. Bring it up. Oh yeah. Okay. That length musical feature is really nice for syncing your delays to the music that you're recording. Now, beyond that, you have a high and low pass filter on your ReaDELAY patch, and I often cut the low end, especially on vocals, up to around 200 hertz or so, much like I do on my EQ coming in. I've got it cut clear up here at, I don't know, 300 hertz. No, it's a 201, and it's a gentle slope, so it's cutting some low frequencies. There's none of that in your voice that's useful anyway, or not much of it. That's an opinion. With the EQ of your delay, what you can do is EQ the feedback responses. And so we've got a lot of feedback. I'm going to bring that back down, and we'll listen. So we'll listen. And if I bring this high pass filter or low pass filter down, you'll notice that the delays get rounder. They're not as dark. If I bring it back up, now the delays are brighter. High pass filter, we're cutting a bunch of low end out of it. Right? Very noticeable. Right? So this is a great way, using the EQ on that is a great way to get those delays to sound a certain way for a mix. Maybe you want them super bright, maybe you want them a little bit lower. I tend to cut down here around 200 hertz on the low pass filter. I usually bring it down around 8, 9. That's just a general setting. So now, when I turn it on, not a big difference between my voice, and typically it's not that loud, but we bring the mix back a little bit so that it would be like as if I'm singing a song and you can hear the delay. The feedback is really nice. It's not intrusive. You can add a tap. So we've got one set at 1.98, and that's tap 1. Well, I'm going to pan that over to the left. So now the only place it's coming in is your left ear, should be. And tap 2, I'm going to set that at, let's set that at 4.02. And I'm going to pan that all the way over to the right. Now you've got a kind of a ping-ponging delay. Okay. We can add another tap, and we can do something like a dotted eighth note. I believe that works out to being 2.7. Let's check that. Yeah, and that 3 tap is panned over to the right. Let's bring it right up the middle. We'll put that in the middle. Yeah, to get a good slapback delay. Let's turn the delay off for a moment so I can talk. Typically, I bring the feedback down quite a bit, and length 0. Now, I'm going to turn the delay back on, and we have not a ton of feedback going on, but as I start bringing this up, and what I've found, like for a doubling effect, to get like a guitar double effect, about 18 milliseconds is a pretty good place to have your timing set. Now, that is often done with the wet mix and dry mix set to the same volume. Right now, you can hear that I have a really nice kind of doubled vocal sound. I've got my dry signal hitting you first and then my wet. And if I pan this over to the right, now, oh my goodness, what happened? Pretty cool. And not a ton of feedback is needed on this. Typically with, doubling a guitar, you only want one tap. Okay, so there's that with regard to doing something like a doubling effect. Now, slapbacks, typically that you're going to run this up to around, yeah. There we go. That's a pretty darn good slapback effect. That's probably a bit long, but it's all done to taste, and you can increase the feedback. So now you got kind of a longer tap, and we'll brighten up that, to make it kind of, I don't know, electric sounding. So this is ultimately how you use the delay effect. It's how I've done it for a long time. I learned to use that. So knowing about how tempos work and that Reaper's ReaDELAY is syncing with the tempo of your session, that is a wonderful way to enable yourself to get your delay taps dead on. But you also can manipulate them using the length. If we bring that up to 3.99, that's close enough, and we turn the delay on. And if we play, oh yeah. Check. Ooh. We set this length time to zero. And we EQ it a little different. And let's make the delays really dark. Super dark. So here we are with a really dark delay. Not very bright at all. So there is your ReaDELAY. I hope that this has helped you. By the way, the reverb effect, what is it called? Reverbate. I am not a fan. The towel reverb, 80s plate, that's kind of a nice effect for vocals. The factory presets, a mid plate, really nice sounding plate reverb. Needs some air. This has been a really nice effect. I really like this one. It works really nicely on acoustic guitars. Got all the low end cut out of it and a bunch of mids. So that's my reverb stuff. Y'all have a really great day, great evening, great morning, and I hope this was helpful. And I've got a ton of reverb on my voice right now, and now I don't. Here is ReaDELAY. Yeah. And ReaDELAY with some reverb. In that order, delay, then reverb. I hope this was helpful. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Peace out.